Hey guys. Okay, so I wanted to share a few tips today on how to avoid scams when working as a freelancer online. And this isn't just for freelancers, this can be for anyone working online or even offline, but specifically how to avoid scams when working as a freelancer online. So, the first thing when you are connecting with potential clients, potential customers, whatever you call them, check them out online. So do a social sweep, check their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere that they're hanging out. Search their name, their business name. If you find information on them, see if there are links to other places they might be. If they have a website, that's a great place to start because usually they will link to their different social sites wherever they're hanging out, right? So look at their website, and just Google them. Google them, their name, their business name, see if anything comes up. If you have mutual friends or mutual connections in different places, ask them about the persons. I mean, it can be a little bit weird if you don't really know a connection, but if you have a friend or a connection that you have, ask them about them. And just find out as much as you can to make sure they're legit, especially if you have any like weird off feelings or something doesn't connect, after your searches on social and Google and everything. And you want to, find out if someone actually knows them, right? Like you might see that you and I have 200 mutual friends, but I might not actually know any of them. So you want to see if there's any people you actually know, and then go from there to find out information about them. I always recommend meeting on video calls, even if your first call is a phone call. Meet with them on a video call. You can tell stuff about a person on a phone call. You can feel if there's anything off or anything they say sounds weird. But I really like to get on a video call and see them face to face and really get a good feel for them, right? So I always recommend a video call. I like to use Zoom. There's free versions of Zoom, super easy to do. So yeah, always meet on a video call. Use your gut instincts. Like I say this a lot, but it really, whether you're doing business in person or online, like you have these gut instincts for a reason. Like your body, like you were made with this, right? Like trust those instincts. I can't tell you how many times trusting my instincts, trusting my gut feeling, my intuition has really helped me to, prevent not so great situations. So trust your gut. Ask the right questions to determine if it's a good fit. Don't be afraid to ask questions and find out, what the person's about, what their business is about, what their expectations are, and just have a conversation that's like you would in person. I also always recommend doing a trial project or like a trial month, trial couple weeks before signing a longer term contract. So as a freelancer, one of those super beautiful things is it's, super easy to set a contract, based on a project, or for, a short period of time. Most of the time we do like a 3-month contract. So we can reevaluate things, right? Always do some sort of trial project, trial month. Like don't sign a long-term contract, especially if you have any off feelings. There's definitely times where maybe you do have mutual actual friends, or someone who's worked with them and it's been great, and you might feel comfortable signing a 3-month contract off the bat. But if you have any inkling that something doesn't feel right, whether it's about the person, the business, or maybe just the project, maybe you don't know if you really want to do this project long term, then don't sign a long-term contract. I also always recommend getting paid using a third party. I like QuickBooks. Up until recently, I only use PayPal. Third party. Like I said, I use QuickBooks. I use PayPal forever until recently. Now I use QuickBooks, and I really like QuickBooks. there are obviously other programs as well, but I highly recommend using a third party for payments and not, having them mail you a check or, obviously, if you're working online, you're probably not going to be taking cash, but using a third party to take the payments. So there's nothing weird. Don't give out your bank account information. There's no reason your whoever's hiring you needs your bank account information. For me, that would be hell no. Like, that wouldn't be comfortable for me, and I wouldn't do it. So I just highly recommend using a third party. Now, if they're trying to avoid fees, which if you're trying to avoid fees, like transaction fees, that's a reason I really like QuickBooks, because you can only, accept payment via automatic bank transfer through QuickBooks, and then you don't get charged a fee. Now, there's a fee to have a QuickBooks account, so if you're not ready for that, then it might be better just to do the PayPal fee. But when I was doing, I think, my 2019 taxes, I had over $800 that year in PayPal fees. So, if I had been using QuickBooks at that time, QuickBooks fees would have been a lot less, even paying monthly, than $800. So live and learn, right? So there's a lot of different levels of QuickBooks, depending on your business needs. And if you need to talk to somebody about that and figure out like what the best option is for you, I will drop 2 different names for you in the description so you can check them out. But Candy Conat and Ashley Burton are the 2 bookkeepers that I work with and highly trust and recommend. But they can help you figure out what the best option for you and your business is. And then if you do decide to use QuickBooks, which QuickBooks product, because I went through several and then ended up none of the ones I picked on my own were right. And anyways, so I highly recommend just asking them to begin with and avoiding all that frustration. So anyways, use a third party to take payments or make payments. So again, don't give out any personal information like your banking information. Don't give out your home address. You may already be familiar with, having to put your address in the bottom of your email footers if you send out to an email list. And so many people put their home address. And for me, that's just like absolutely no, not something I'm willing to do. So I use Anytime Mailbox. It's a virtual mailbox. If you use certain email service providers, like I know ConvertKit, you can use their address at the bottom of your email footer. So it's like a Seattle address. So if your email service allows that, then great. But again, you have to think of like the cost, right? So if you are newer in business, or you're a service provider or someone who doesn't want to have a lot of overhead costs, ConvertKit is like $29 a month. And if you're not, trying to build a big email list right now, that might not be a good use of your funds. Then you might want to use something, that has a free version like MailerLite. I really like MailerLite. And if you do decide to transition to, a more robust email system down the road, then the way MailerLite structure is very similar to ConvertKit and ActiveCampaign. So it's really easy to transition. But anyways, going back to the address thing. So if you're in a situation where you're like, oh, like people keep wanting my address and you're not comfortable putting out your home address. Again, I'm not comfortable putting out my home address. I use Anytime Mailbox, virtual mailbox. There's different, like you can do different options on there, and there are other virtual mailboxes as well. I used a different one before we moved to Hawaii, and I can't remember now what it was. I have to look that up. But anyways, you can choose to have your address in like different places where they have them, right? So like my address used to be in Las Vegas. It was like the cheapest one, so that's what I did. And I never had anything sent there. Like it didn't matter. But if something was sent there, they would scan it in and email. You would say, hey, you've got a piece of mail, and then you could look and be like, oh, open it for me and scan in whatever's inside. Or you could just say, forward it to my home address. So when we moved to Hawaii, I wanted a Hawaii address. So there isn't one on Maui, but they have one on Oahu. So I have a Honolulu mailing address. And anytime anything goes there, again, I just have them either open it for me and scan it in so I can look at it. Or if it's something I know that I need, then they just forward it to me. So, and I also have my husband on there. So I think we pay like $13 a month for it. But if you just do like the cheapest and it's just you on it, I think I was paying like $6.99 or $7.99 a month. So, it's, not a lot of money to help give you that peace of mind, right? Another thing I've seen people do with the address thing is if they have a brick and mortar business, or their spouse does, or a close family member, they'll put that address on there. So anyways, for me, putting my home address out is just not okay. Phone number, another thing I don't put publicly, but it's becoming really popular now to text with clients or customers or potential clients or customers. So I recently set up a Google phone number, which you can set up for free, and you can do it on your computer. You can use it on your phone. There's an app for both iPhone and Android. And you can get an actual phone number. If you do the personal one, it's free. When I signed up really recently, the business one was free too. So I think they just changed it. But regardless, even the business one, if you're a bigger business and want to have a lot of users, it's really, really affordable. But anyways, on the regular, just like Google phone number, you get a free phone number, and you can do calls, accept calls, and you can text. So you can text with your clients, anything business related. You could just give out that phone number. And then you don't have to worry about anyone having your personal phone number. So I really like that. Another option, so that I just signed up for recently, but for the last 2 years, I've just communicated with clients through Voxer, which the free service is great. You can talk and text, send photos, send like 15-second video clips. A lot of people also use WhatsApp. And then, some people use Facebook Messenger, and I'm sure there's other apps as well. But it seems to be the most popular as far as online business. What I found is Voxer. Pretty much everyone has Voxer. You can't upgrade to the pro version for $3.99 a month. I didn't do that until probably in this last year, because I like the option to recall messages. So if I send a message to the wrong person, I can recall it. Or if I'm just like blabbing on and like, this is stupid, I can recall it and like redo a very like nice, concise message that's not like me blabbering. And yeah, it's great. You can also have Voxer like transcribe messages. You can send them to your computer, or to an app on your phone. You can send the messages to have them transcribed if you need like a big, long, full transcription. So yeah, there's a lot of great options with Voxer. Okay, so back to ways, things that might come up, people might ask you for, that would be a red flag. You should never have to pay for anything. So if a client's hiring you, like, you don't have any reason to give them your banking information. And you shouldn't have to pay anything. Like, if they're hiring you to do a service, you don't need to pay anything. So, any program, systems, whatever that they need you to use for their business, they pay for and give you access to. Now, of course, there could be certain situations if you're doing a certain project and you're using your own software, then you might be using your own, like if you are doing like graphic design, for example, and you use, what's it called? What's the big, robust Photoshop? You might be using Photoshop. Like, that's an example of when you might use your own thing, and like when I'm doing like editing on videos, I might use iMovie, right? Like, so I'm not saying you're never going to use anything of your own, but if a client hires you to do a job, you shouldn't have to go and purchase a special program for it unless that's part of the whole contract and you're being reimbursed in what they're paying you, right? But I feel like that's so rare. It's not something I really hear about people doing. Generally, the client, the company has the programs, they give you user access. So they'll send you access, like the login information through LastPass or 1Password or some sort of secure password sharing system is the best way. Of course, I've seen lots of small business owners not do it that way and just like, oh, here's my login information. Let me text it to you. Let me email it to you. Those are not the most secure ways for them to do it, but it will happen. They will send them to you in other ways. But generally, they should be sending you your login information using a secure password sharing device system. If they ever ask you for a password, like, oh, what password do you want to use, for whatever, if they're giving you like access, like your own user access to like WordPress, for example, they'll put in a username and a password for you. If they ask you like, what password do you want to use, don't give them a password that you use for anything else. And this is just an overabundance of caution because I want you to be safe and protected. So, don't do like your dog's name, the year you were born, if that's what you use on anything else. Just make up a super like generic password, say, okay, use this. And then when you have the access, then you can go in and change it to whatever. But don't ever give out a password that you are already using. You just never know, right? Like, just got to be careful. Plus, however you're sharing that information could be hacked by somebody else too. So even if it's not an issue with the potential client, someone else could be seeing that, or someone else on the team could be seeing that, and you just never know about people. So I didn't put this together to scare you, but I also want you to be safe working online. So I hope this is helpful. And what I want to leave you with is, don't let fear hold you back from connecting with clients. Use your best judgment, follow your gut instincts, and just get out there safely, start connecting. And I invite you to connect with potential clients in my free group, the Corporate Reject Connection on Facebook. And always check the event section because any free workshops or trainings that I do, I put in there, as well as my virtual happy hour events, which we usually do about once a month. Those are really great places to connect with other business owners, potential people to hire, potential people that might hire you. It's a really great place to connect. So I invite you to come there. So anyways, I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the comments if if you have questions about anything, or if you're like, oh, this made me think of something, or what about this? Or if there's, a situation you've had that you think could help other people, please share it. So, okay. Have a great day. Bye.